No, wait. Ask Mr. Noog and Min-Na to come here. We are going to do this smart. He stopped Aris from leaving and looked at Rox. Just like with the old pirate, we don't rush into this. Are you not going to buy up the slave pens? Aris looked a little confused and Adam smiled. I'll do more than just that, but we don't rush in. If we start to buy up, we will get perhaps 10 or 20 of them before they raise the prices so high it will bankrupt us. So let's just take it slow, set a trap and get them all. So, who do we call to this meeting? Rox replied, and Adam thought for a second. I'll do the summoning. Better it comes from me. Besides, do you want to order Evelyn to come? Adam was clearly joking, but they got the point. And no vengeance before we have intel either. For all we know, those dreadnoughts were stolen by somebody wanting to get us off the track, Adam said, and Aris looked confused at him. Who would do something like that? He asked. I would, Adam and Rox replied, looking at each other and raising the glass cheerfully. Aris looked at them and left, while Rox looked at Adam. It might have been a droid, but he was right. I'm going to tear that bastard apart. Now I know he is alive, he said, looking at the glass and then downing the content. Are you going to chase him? Adam asked as he refilled the glass. No, that's what he wants me to do. He probably set a trap for me, so I will wait. For now, ignore him. That will either drive him mad and have him come to me to try again, or he will get comfortable believing I don't care. Then I will come for him. Revenge is a dish best served cold, Adam replied, and Rox nodded. You have that saying too? We say, vengeance should be like the winter, cold, merciless, and unforgiving. But the meaning is the same, I guess. Yeah, don't do anything rash and let me know if you need any help. Only a fool would go about this alone, Adam replied, and Rox smirked. I'm no fool, Adam. Then he got up. I will go and check on the damage. You should go talk to the Gorts. They saved your life more than once. Adam watched Rox leave and then sent out a summons before going to meet with the Gorts. He had read up on their funeral rites and went to inform them that he would do his best to ensure a proper burial. On the way, he met Kira, who informed him about her passengers. He summoned a butler droid to escort her to the mansion Evelyn had asked him to donate to her and her sister. It would keep her busy while he dealt with the matters of dirt. It was way past midnight before he returned to his room, where he found Evelyn and Kira sitting in the living room area, drinking a bottle of wine and discussing what he expected to be the latest gossip. Adam had expected to hear laughter, but instead it was a serious matter. The sister was on the way back with a large group. Kira was not sure if that was a good or bad thing, as she had also heard the cartel still had a very big reward for Adams's head, preferably not attached. Kira loved her sister, but also knew she was the coldest-blooded of them. She might come to collect the price, or she might come with people who want to join the cause. That might be just as bad as their contacts in Earth's domain not being of the nice kind. Evelyn also told him that Earth would not like to hear that one soldier died in the attack and one was poisoned. He might have to expect a bigger presence now that it's confirmed there are hostile forces here. It could be a blessing or a curse. Adam didn't like it, but it was expected. He had gotten too big. His plan of vanishing into space and living a calm life alone on his planet would never happen now. He started to laugh at it. He had imagined himself having a farm alone on a terraformed planet, and now they looked at him confused until he explained, and then they started to laugh as well. Do you think you ever will be able to live a normal life, Adam? He couldn't remember who had asked him, but it was what he remembered the next day. Maybe it was from his dream. Evelyn lay next to him, content and happy. He smiled as he watched her. He had never had nightmares with her. He got up and got ready for the day. The ruse would be kept up a few more days, and Evelyn teased him when she saw his old man's disguise. Adam was more surprised at how quickly things moved on. The damage and death were terrible. But in a galaxy with trillions of beings, a death toll of less than 1 million was hardly even spoken about. Instead, what was spoken about was how the attack was repelled, and that most of the guests didn't even notice there had been an attack. It was hailed as a safe place, and the tourist department that Aris had set up reported an uptick on the reservations. When he asked York about the attack at his home, he did not want to talk about the attack, but Adam knew they had removed 6 armed men from his mansion. Apparently, York had been targeted for kidnapping. This had worried them both, and they set up some emergency plans, mostly for Miker, if they would be successful in taking him. Vorts and Hara spent most of the time at the zoo and crater to get everything up and running. It was a week later that Adam sat down in a domed hotel complex in the middle of the crater. It didn't need the dome, but it was more to keep the city separated from the landscape in the crater. The view was fantastic and showed his friends what Adam had planned. The hotel would open soon, which was why he had chosen it. The room was as large, with a round table in the middle. Adam sat with Evelyn on his left and Rox on his right, followed by Hara, Vorts, York, Aris, Sigsan, Mr. Knug, and Myrna, who sat next to Evelyn. A droid walked around, giving them refreshments. Adam waited for everybody to sit as he leaned against the back of the chair. "Thank you for coming. I think some of you are wondering, why me? To be honest, I don't know. You were the only one I needed when I thought about who to invite. Those who are left out right now are people you can easily bring this information to, but it's you guys I need to convince," Adam said as he looked at them, and they looked around, a little confused. "Why us?" Aris asked. "You are here because I need media, and you have incredible control over it. It's like you control the stories that are being told." Adam looked at him and realized he probably needed to explain why he chose each of them. "Everybody knows Rox. He is the face of our military and defense. Without him, we would be in chains or worse. His sister Hara is the best doctor in the sector, even if she refuses to take her doctorate. And that's not coming from me, but from the professor in medicine when I spoke with him about how she ran the medical department. Even he wants you to just take the damn degree." Rox grinned and looked at his sister. She blushed and looked away. "Then we have my 2 rebels, Vorts, the biologist who is in charge of bringing life to this planet, and York, who builds everything we need. I'm no god, so don't even try." He glanced at Sigsan and then at the other. "But I'm not so sure about York. Then we got you. Sigsan, I hope I never need to use you as anything other than my spy master because I know just how deadly you are. You are my shadow and you have my ear. And then there's Mrs. Minna. What else can I say but the law? Without her, we would probably be arrested for breaking half the sector's laws." Minna smiled proudly. "I'm still not sure if you're trying to headhunt me. If you keep this up, I might even say yes one day. When that day comes, it's because I need a Supreme Court justice." Adam winked and then looked at Knug. "And the last, I really didn't like you at first, but I have a feeling you really didn't like yourself either. You didn't like that job, did you? You were doing the bare minimum." Knug looked down, ashamed, but then raised his head to meet his eyes. "You gave me a way out with a shitty contract, yet you put in something that awakened something in me. I notice you have made your little shop into one of the biggest in the market. No wonder we have so many enemies. And you helped Sigsan set up and make deals around the hubs. It's more than I could hope for. I promised you 5% of that one shop and 0.5% of the overall profit of the mesh droids, and you're now a multimillionaire. I fear what will happen when I tell you I'm going to let you loose." Knug's eyes went wide, and then he looked at Aris and went back to Adam. "Are we expanding?" he asked, and Adam nodded, then looked around the table. "There is much to discuss today, but this comes first. We are going to buy up all the minor slave pens on the 6 nearest hubs and replace them with mesh droid shops. We are going to do it smartly through small shell companies and just send all the slaves delivered here, pretending they have been bought. But since we control the shops, we will do our best not to increase the demand. At the same time, we will build up droid shops and outcompete the bigger slave pens. They want war, and we will give them that. We will give them a trade war." He looked around the round table. "We are going to hit them where it hurts the most, their credits. I want as many lawsuits as possible against the bigger slave pens and then have our smaller ones buy them up and convert them. I want them reported for any minor breach of trade laws to keep them mired up in court. Having slaves should cost more than it is worth. I want them to drive up the prices." He looked at Knug and Sigsan. That will be your jobs. We will help Kira hit the pirates and slavers in the market, and we will offer our cheaper mesh droids all along. We will outbid them on the criminal slaves and start a prison system here. If they are real criminals, they can work and live a decent life. If it's trumped-up charges like with Vorts and Hara, we give them the standard contract, but we will simply show them a better way. It's going to cost a lot, York replied, and Knug disagreed. Not really. Small companies can get loans as long as they have a starting capital. In the beginning it will be easy, but the more scared the slave market will be, the harder that getting a loan for it will be. But at that time you should have several medium-sized businesses that don't need a loan anymore. Adam nodded and looked at Min-Na. Of course that means a lot of work for your company. As long as you pay, we won't mind. You might end up as our most valuable customer, she replied. Sigsan looked at Adam and then at Evelyn. What about the human navy? Oh, I think Kira is going to get a lot of help from the human navy if she starts a slaver hunting fleet, most likely unofficially supported by the navy. There won't just be humans coming. We have allies all over the southern part of the galaxy. Adam looked around the table. So we agree? Then nodded, and Adam looked at the next agenda. Okay, the university wants more place. We might end up just building them a city. Almost like you need a lore master to help you deal with all of these things, Sigsan said with a smile. Anybody in mind? Adam asked, and Sigsan shook his head. No, but I'm sure you will find a good one soon. I would recommend a female. This table of 8 is very male-dominated. We are 10, Adam said, and Sig winked. You're the boss, and she's your wife and the representative of Earth, so you two don't count as members of the council. You rule it, and she observes it. Knug looked at him wide-eyed as he looked around, then covered his mouth in shock. Adam ignored it. He knew Sigsan was having one of his religious moments. Well, we don't have her yet, so we have to deal with that and the number of travelers. He looked at Sigsan and dared him to comment, but he kept his tongue. Adam was swearing softly to himself while sitting in his office. Everything had gone as planned. They had managed to buy up 45% of all slave pens in the 7 nearest hubs and planetary systems. He was now the biggest slaver in this part of the galaxy. The inhabitants of Dirt had also increased and was continuing to increase. There were now 50,000 people living on the planet, most of them in New Macau. But Hades also had become a permanent dwelling for several of his new citizens. It turned out there were 3 nocturnal species in the Federation, and they found the dwellings perfect. At least he had the city upgraded. This was not what he had planned. He came here to terraform the planet, not to become a slaver. He felt worse and worse as the days went by. The worst part was the increasing wealth he gained. The price of slaves had gone up, which meant more and more bought his droids. The increase in workforce meant more and more of York and Vort's projects were completed. Rox got his soldiers to train, and he even had York build him a village he converted into a military camp. Sigsan and Knug were getting more pilots and more ships. Wrangler Corp was now selling droids and ships as well as taking care of most of the waste disposal from the space stations. Everything was going well, but still Adam was annoyed. He got up from his chair and looked out the window. About 500 meters away, he saw his attempt to plant a tree. The droid had put a tent and fence around it and a small nutrient machine, and it was growing. He wondered how many trees had died before the droid perfected the method. He wanted to do that. He wanted to watch something grow. Yeah, he needed to get away from business and get back to focus on the terraforming. He went back to the office and checked the status. Oxygen was 15.06% now. Nitrogen was 4.6%. It was impressive. Carbon dioxide was 75%, still far away to go. There were pockets that had up to 27% oxygen, but those were artificial. Maybe he could go to one of those and do some terraforming. He looked at the numbers again. Then he called up York. Yeah, boss. What is it? York came into the office as Adam was reviewing some of the blueprints he had brought with him from the Earth. Then he found what he was looking for and put it on the screen. What do you think? Can we use it? Adam asked, and York looked at them. Graphene? Sure, we can pull it from the air with the amount we have. It might even help speed up oxygen production. You should check that part with the Vorts. When do you want it done and at what scale? York asked, and Adam shrugged. I don't know. We have too much of it in the air. We need to get it down to a workable level. If you can use it, we keep it. If not, we sell it, Adam said, and York chuckled. We can use it, don't worry about that. As he spoke, Rox came in and took one look at him, then called for Evelyn and Vorts. Adam looked at him and then to York. What is he planning now? Does he want to go raiding with Kira again? He asked, and York just winked as if he knew something. Okay, out with it. What is going on here? Adam asked Rox, but he just smiled. Wait and see. Then he turned to York. He normally has much more patience. I agree, the stress must be getting to him, York replied. Adam looked at them and sat down, reviewing the nitrogen extraction. It was now picking up 180 cubic kilometers of ice blocks of nitrogen an hour, and it looked like a white road of ice that left Onic and made it all the way to dirt. Adam was beyond impressed. It had been 6 weeks since the war meeting, as they had called it, and York had gone crazy. Everybody had. He checked the other project. Several of the oceans had algae and plant life. The Gorts had a whole village down there where they moved about with their suits. Oh, the suits. He thought it would be a novelty, and then it sold 10 million, and it's not stopping. There are 50 billion Gorts in the galaxy, and he could expect at least 10% to want his suits, more if he let Knug take care of the sales. He was lost in his own misery when Evelyn came in. Hey, why that face? She leaned on the office desk and he looked at her. I don't know, everything is going great, but I don't know. Fuck it. I do know. I didn't come here to be a slaver. I came here to get away, have a normal, calm life, terraform in my own stupid way, and now, this is not what I want to do. He stood up and noticed Vorts and Hera had joined as well. What's going on? He asked, and Evelyn smiled. Well, I had a mutiny on my base, and you apparently have the same. They say we are overworked. Mutiny? Doc leads a mutiny? He asked, confused. He was ordered by the brass to put me on holiday. They say my obsession with gathering as much intel and arranging unsanctioned raids on pirates was getting too much. Something about taking a breather until the personnel arrives. After the attack and death of one of ours, they have justified a bigger presence. They just don't want to arrive at a bombed-out outpost. She said, a little disappointed. You two need to relax, and we have the perfect place. We have even managed to keep this hidden from Adam, Vort said. They looked at him and then at each other, who were all smiling. Come, let us show you. It's about a 15-minute flight. Adam and Evelyn looked at each other and then followed them. The transport flew straight out of the atmosphere then and dived toward the island, about 500 kilometers from Paradis. It was shaped like somebody had taken a H and C and smashed them together. Welcome to the new Avalon, Rox said. We had some help with naming it. It's in your file under Project Babysitter. He winked at Adam and Evelyn. Okay, so what is this island? If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be wildlife reservoirs. No cities and a planned research bases. Adam replied, Well, we have to fly to Mount Huaguo to show you. It has a few rivers running down and a couple of interesting valleys. There is one we want to show you, Vorts replied, and Adam looked at him and turned to Evelyn. They are up to something, he said. You think? She replied. The transport flew along the barren mountainside where several rivers from the mountain. The top of the mountain was covered in glaciers, and the shuttle flew over the glacier towards a large valley that had some construction on the valley tops on both sides. Adam looked at them and then to Jork. You shielded the whole valley? He asked as the ship dived through the shield and flew towards a structure. It wasn't a base. Instead, it looked like a 2-floor structure with a landing pad next to it and a small dome connected behind. It was a home. They had built him a home. Yeah, the shield covers 15 kilometers in length and is between 2 to 5 kilometers wide. You got a nice river running down in the middle, and we have given it a nice layer of fertilizers. The farmers have planted that human grass thingy and a few earth trees. I left a few drones in the underground storage, and there are 4 maid droids, 1 butler and 4 construction droids. Archangel checked out the place and is already here, so you should be safe. Officially, you are two students maintaining one of Vort's biological experiments, so nobody knows you here. Adam looked at them as the door opened and fresh air came in. No need for masks. No, oxygen is within human acceptable level. Doc insisted I also gave you something he called a grill. It's in the back. So, enjoy, Rock said, and Adam and Evelyn looked at them, realizing the others had not left the shuttle. There's a spare shuttle in the underground garage, enjoy, Jork said as the shuttle took off. Those bastards, Adam said as he watched the ship leave, and Evelyn looked at him. What's the point of a grill if we don't have meat? She asked as she put her arm around his waist. I have a feeling they filled the kitchen. They had spent the day exploring their new home. They had started at the top and worked themselves down. It was a spacious two-floor house with a flat roof, a garden, and a barbecue area where he could make anything from a burger to pizza. They must have asked Doc what humans like to have in their outdoor areas. The view was fantastic, and they could see the river running past them. It split the valley in two, and Adam already had ideas about what to do, but now he focused on the house and the rooftop. There were hidden features like a jacuzzi and a domed force field to protect them from the weather at their discretion. It could also allow privacy by becoming a hologram. The second floor had a large bedroom, bathrooms, gym, and entertainment area. It had a library room filled with copies of all of Adam's books as well as more books in the same genre. Evelyn wanted to stay there, but he had to drag her out so they could explore more. They also had 10 extra bedrooms. Adam shook his head at the craziness. That must be Sigsan's idea, he said as they went down to the large living room. Next to it were the dining room and kitchen with a food elevator going all the way up to the roof. But they could be stopping in the hallway upstairs. You are not eating in bed, Evelyn said, and Adam chuckled as he opened the fridge, which was filled to the rim. I can't make any promises. I told you they filled it up. He closed the door and opened a cupboard filled with whatever he needed. There was a door at the other end of the kitchen, and he peeked inside and found a storage room with a walk-in freezer. So he went back to Evelyn. We won't go hungry. What are they thinking? This is a family home, he said, and Evelyn looked around, then walked through the dining room to the large glass door at the back, which was another open area. Half the area had already been turned into grass. It had a doghouse and a swimming pool with an adjustable depth. She looked at the doghouse and ran over to it as Beast peeked out. Seeing his mum, the puppy came over to her, tail wagging. Adam watched her dotting over her puppy, smiled, and then looked around. If the Beast had been here, then Scifi would have been hiding somewhere. She would not be outside. So he looked around and found her nestled on the couch between two large pillows. He picked her up and the little beast yawned, stretched her claws, and then nuzzled up on his shoulder as he walked out to the two. Evelyn was already deep into her training, and Beast was too eager to make his mommy happy. They took a break from exploring as they spent time with their pets. Then they went inside and found several offices connected to the administration and everything. He could run the place from here. When they went down to what they thought was an underground garage, they suddenly realized just how big the place was. The pad they had landed on was an elevator that went down to a large 1 square kilometer hall separated in two. It was filled with mechanical crafts as well as several of the machines he had bought for terraforming. There were extra shuttles, crafts, and more, and next to the lift his personal yacht was parked. He turned around and went back up. Those bastards, he said as he laughed. They want me distracted. Evelyn looked at him. Distracted from what? I have no idea. Do you trust Doc not to start a new galactic war? He replied. Yeah, he does not want to get involved again. Hell, none of us wanted to. That last one was... Let's not talk about, she said as she led him to the kitchen to find some refreshments. The maid droid tried to offer them, but Adam told them to wait. I trust them not to destroy the place either. As long as I don't return to a goddamn statue, I will grant them this. I want to do something about the valley. You okay with it? Yeah, but I need to check in with the brass later to find out what's going on, she replied. So, let's enjoy. She handed him a bottle and winked at him. Around midday the next day, Adam stood on the roof looking at the valley. It was nice but still a desert, and he pondered. Evelyn came up next to him. She had been downstairs reading. "Why does everybody think the Harren eat their mates?" she asked, and Adam shrugged. "It's part of their wedding vows. The wife bites her husband to mark him, and we are not talking a light bite. It has to be a real bite that leaves a scar. So if you see a male Harren with a bite mark, he is married. Of course, anybody not Harren who goes to a wedding or marries one of them is shocked by this. The Tufans joke about it as they have their own strange ritual. Vorts and rocks don't have any marks like that, and they are married," she replied, and Adam grinned as he replied, "You haven't seen them naked." She looked at him, then it clicked, and she laughed. "Jackson is in for such a surprise." "Who?" He turned to her. "Private Jackson. He is a mech and has a thing going on with a Tufan lady named Mishta. He claims she is the one." Adam chuckled. "I hope he likes pain. The whole Tufan culture looks like a world where street gangs took over and ruled. Their male adolescent rituals are all about who can take and deliver the most beatings. Is that why your library is filled with cultural and tourist books, as well as their most famous written works?" "Yeah, I don't get involved. The last thing they need is a foreigner telling them how to do things in their world. Mostly, I use it to avoid taboos. So why don't you celebrate the Haran week of Menja? It seems to be a big deal for them," she asked, and Adam called up a chair and table for them to sit. "For the same reason I don't celebrate Gaibi with the Haran or Sagusa with the Dushians. I can't take my favorites. They can celebrate it, and if they invite me I will come, but I won't be the one to arrange them. Hell, I don't even celebrate Halloween, remember? I didn't even celebrate Christmas before we got rescued. I had no culture when I grew up. I know some of us really dive into their adopted culture, but I didn't feel the need to. I celebrated Christmas and all the other festivals because of you." She sat down and looked at him, thinking about it. "Yeah, it always surprised me. I just wanted you to experience them." She stopped and looked at him. He could see something was on her mind, something more important for her. He could see she mentally forced her to ask. "So there is this other thing that's been bugging me. Why did you take me back?" She looked directly at him as she asked. Adam knew she would not let this go. She was too strong-willed, and when she wanted an answer, she would not give up so easily. "You stop the nightmares. Look, it's not that I'm not pissed off at you, but I'm not 18 years old anymore, and I met more stupid people than you when it comes to this. And how to say this? I never forgot you. If you had just waited about a month, I would have proposed. Hell, the others didn't find out what happened. I never told them what you told me. I didn't want them to think I was just your side piece. I had some reputation to protect after all. I was the number uno." He chucked at the thought. God damn it, I was stupid. I should have told them this whole mess would have been avoided. "Yeah, it's almost as if we were meant to meet here. Every time I worked up my nerves, something got in the way. Hell, I had decided to find you when they sent me to the Nalo space. Same fucking day, only a few hours apart. My leave got recalled. So when Harold contacted me, I just said yes without thinking. I'm glad I did, because if I had stopped to think, I don't think I would have said yes. I was looking forward to a cozy office job away from the frontier, and I think half the crew suffer from PTSD from those damn bugs. Strangely, you seem to stop my nightmares." She looked at him, got up, and moved over to his chair. Adam smiled as she leaned in to kiss him. "Okay, why are you always looking at the valley? What are you plotting?" She looked over the breakfast table, and Adam turned to her. "Do you know what my plan was? I mean, my original plan? I want to find a place like this, build a base, litter the ground with organic waste, and have it rot to improve the soil while planting a forest. Basically, turn the desert green by using organic waste. Like a giant compost area. Do you think it would work here?" She looked at him interested, and he nodded. "Yeah, back then it was doomed to fail, as I forgot that I needed a working atmosphere, but they fixed it for me here in the valley. So we need to get one of those haulers to fly over, drop some organic waste, and plant the whole valley. We have the machinery, so we can have them drop it in one area and use a tractor to spread it." "Are you going to make our little Eden? Is that your plan?" Adam laughed. "No apple trees. We don't need to be tossed out by a guy with a flaming sword. She looked at him and then laughed. No apple trees. Adam was in the storage room when Evelyn came over. She was eating an apple with a teasing grin. As he reviewed the different seeds Vorts had provided, he shook his head. What? It's not from our garden. Besides, what angel do we have here? She turned and looked at Archangel standing by the door and back to Adam. You have to stop doing stuff like this. You're not Adam and my name is Evelyn, not Eve. You're not Gallios. I know, He looked at her. It's just that every time I do something, they come after and tell me it was prophecies among some people. I have so many books on that Gallios bastard. Do you know who Sigsan is waiting for? The goddess of secrets, also known as the goddess of knowledge and the god of travel or transport. From the Gortz people, Gallios pulls Scifi, that's the goddess, from a drunken stupor, and that Burimo has seduced Weldir, the god of travel. Burimo is the evil version of Gallios, and then Gallios gives it wings. Does that sound like me? He sighed, and she looked at him. Yeah, I can fully see you sober up some stupid lady and give her a new chance at life or talk some guy out of doing something stupid. Are you going to stop being yourself because of these prophecies? So if you meet a drunk lady, you're going to leave her? Hell no, but you see how this is fucked up. Being decent is somehow prophesied. It's just me and I keep walking into these messed up shit. He took a deep breath. F it. Let go of farming, he said, and Evelyn nodded and went over to help him, grabbing a crate of seeds. Let's farm. The next week went by like a dream, with nights of passion and days of hard work. Adam had never felt so alive. They asked for a few loads of organics, plant-based waste, and Evelyn took a trip to the colony one day to bring the children along to help with the planting. Adam wanted to just stay here, but he knew it could not last, so he opened up the office and started to check on the colony, just to make sure they didn't do too much bad. It felt like he was peeking at their secret projects. He would have to pretend that he didn't know. Scifi had decided that his office was now hers, and she was often found sleeping on his chair when she was in the house, though she was just as often out in the garden with Beast or exploring the area around the house. Evelyn lasted 2 weeks before her work addiction got the better of her. She started to head back to the base for a 9-to-5 workload, though now and then she spent the day with Adam. Adam spent that time going over the terraforming aspects. Algae were present in all the planet's oceans, and there were now corals and sea life around the aquatic bases. Even if they stopped now, the seeds had been planted, and they would grow by themselves. They had successfully brought life to the seas, but when it came to the land, there were only pockets of life, all under these shields to keep the high level of carbon dioxide out. These pockets were also seeded with nitrogen-rich fertilizer. The zoo and crater were doing great with all the extra help that was put into it. He noticed they had started using organic plant-based waste as well to speed up the growth process, and Evelyn had convinced Vorts to open a school program for the children to help him plant and take care of the animals he had made. Adam stroked Scifi idly as he looked over the report. Everything was covered. They worked together, and he really didn't need to do anything. Evelyn came in looking at a pad, then sat down on the desk looking at him, showing the pad. He took it. It was from some debate program about dirt. You know half the sector hates you, right? She said, and Adam chuckled. A little less, most don't care. But yeah, there is a lot of debate about me. To be honest, I thought it would be more. I'm surprised we don't have those guys here on dirt, he replied. I'm not. Those who hate you won't come here unless they are looking for trouble. And those who don't care, well, they don't care. If they come here, it's for the casino or work, she replied and put the program on the screen. They watched as one part called him the worst entitled person in the galaxy, coming here with his holier-than-thou attitude and telling everybody what they should do. The other side countered with Adam really not caring about the other people's views and simply doing his own thing on his own system. He is not forcing anybody to buy his droids. The mention of the droids started a shouting match about Adam sponsoring pirate hunters who only went after pirates who dealt with slavers. Adam looked at Evelyn, who tried to look innocent. That's why you're on leave? They are not sanctioning it? Adam asked her, and she sighed and stood up, pacing the room. They say I should wait for the reinforcements and not provoke the Federation. Earth is not a part of it, they just acknowledge it. So, if I stir too much, then I might cause a diplomatic incident. She said it was clear she didn't like it. I know you won't wait, so what's your plan? He asked, and she grinned at him. I have had Kira contact all the pirate hunters with a grudge against the slavers and try to turn them into a fleet. Somebody is sponsoring the pirates with all the new ships, so I asked Sigson to make a list of companies and their competitors. Then I gave that list to Knug, told him who was who, and let him loose. You might lose some money on this. It's currently no loss, but no income either. Adam looked at her. Why didn't you tell me? Because of the speech that is coming now? You will get upset, tell me I should have told you, rant about it for an hour, and then agree to it, she said, suddenly touching her stomach and running out to find the nearest bathroom. Adam followed her and found her kneeling over the toilet. Are you okay? He had forgotten about what she had spoken about, and she got up, wiped her mouth, and washed it. Yeah, I just tend to get a bit dizzy and nauseous in the evening. I think I got sick. Anyway, are you going to yell or support me now? She said, and Adam looked at her. Yeah, I'm on board as long as you don't bankrupt us. Just keep me in the loop. We already messed up once because we didn't talk. Come, let's get you some food and watch a movie. He held out his hand and she came to him.